Good afternoon, friends. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. It's great to have you with us. We'll be taking your phone calls here in just a little bit. If you have questions about medications, prescription drugs, supplements, or the longevity products, or if you just have a comment or a success story, we would love to hear from you today. Our number is 831-685-1080. 831-685-1080. That's our priority line number, or 888-379-2552, 888-379-2552, toll free. I am a nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado, registered pharmacist, and I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and deadly medical procedures. I thought we'd start off the program today talking about the health of the body's, arguably, most important organ, the brain. Dementias, especially Alzheimer's disease, are increasing alarmingly. According to an article that appeared in the Boston Globe last week, nearly 500,000 people are expected to reach their demise early from the disease, Alzheimer's disease, this year. Last week, headlines proclaimed advances in a diagnostic test that could supposedly reduce the odds that someone would get Alzheimer's. And I'm telling you today, whether or not some test predicts the unfortunate disease for you or a loved one, you want to be making sure that you're taking steps to keep your brain and mental functioning operating perfectly and pristinely. Last week, just like arthritis is a breakdown disease that affects cartilage-making cells, and multiple sclerosis is a breakdown disease that affects nerve cells, and fatty liver disease is a breakdown disease that affects liver cells, and diabetes is a breakdown disease that affects the pancreas. Dementias, Alzheimer's or otherwise, are breakdown diseases that affect brain cells. Dementias can be thought of as arthritis of the brain, diabetes of the brain, or if you prefer, arthritis is Alzheimer's disease of the joints. In any case, looking at dementias in this way makes it much easier for us to understand and deal with them. They're just basically degenerative disease of the physical organ called the brain, like arthritis is a degenerative disease of the structure called the joints, or MS is a degenerative disease of a structure called the nerves. As such, all degenerative diseases have the same exact causes. Alzheimer's disease has the same cause that arthritis has, or that MS has, or any other degenerative disease has. And it doesn't matter that it's occurring in the brain. It simply matters that it is occurring. Degenerative disease means somewhere in the body something's not getting fed correctly, something's not getting oxygenated correctly, and something's not getting detoxified correctly. Unlike the medical model that regards dementias as progressive and irreversible, if you want to effectively address dementia or any other breakdown disease, you got to remove the cause of the breakdown, which is an inflammation or an immune response that follows a lack of nutrition, a lack of oxygen, and toxicity. And that's it, folks. If you do this, if you follow this kind of program, there's no way that your dementia or any degenerative symptoms are not going to improve. There's no way that you're not going to be feeling better. There's no way that you're not going to be reversing the breakdown process. When you give the body the nutrients it needs, when you give the cells the oxygen it needs, and when you figure out a way to clear the toxins out and keep the toxins from coming in the first place, you can't not get better. It's as simple as that. Almost every couple of days you get an article, you see an article that appears in some medical journal about a potential treatment for Alzheimer's disease, the most common type of dementia. But when you understand this idea of breakdown, degeneration, it becomes easy to understand how you can address dementia in the same way that you can address any other degenerative disease without drugs and without doctors. The only thing we need to do is figure out what's causing the cells to break down, what's causing the brain cells, in the case of dementia, to break down. And you're always going to find starvation, lack of nutrition. You're always going to find some kind of oxygen problem, lack of oxygen, and you're always going to find some kind of toxicity. And this is such good news, because most doctors will tell you that dementias are irreversible. There's nothing you can do. All you could maybe slow down the devastating progression of the disease with drugs that don't cure, that don't reverse, that simply slow down symptomology. As of today, there's two main classes of drugs that are used for Alzheimer's disease. One type works by keeping a brain chemical called acetylcholine present in relatively normal amounts. You've heard of Aricept probably, or Razidine. These drugs basically keep the brain from breaking down acetylcholine, keeping it active, keeping it around in the brain for a longer period of time. And then there's a second type of drug called memantine, and that's a drug that regulates a brain chemical called glutamate. But the fact of the matter is, these drugs just hide symptoms. Ever hear this before? Hiding symptoms? This is how these things work. They hide symptoms. They make the disease a little bit easier to deal with. And of course, no drugs come without side effects, and so you're going to have to deal with that as well. So in addition to not doing anything about your dementia, now you're going to have to deal with diarrhea, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, anxiety, loss of sleep. These are all the side effects that you get from these kinds of drugs. So the drug model clearly doesn't work. Surprise, surprise. Where does the drug model work? Let me think. Nowhere. The drug model doesn't work, period. No matter what the latest, I call them UMAB drugs. That's the class of drugs that you're going to see more and more of when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. Bapinuzumab, that's another drug that's going to come out. Solanuzumab, that's another drug. These are all drugs that are going to come out that are supposedly going to minimize or reduce or slow down the symptomology of Alzheimer's disease. So what do? Is all lost? No, it's not. Remember, the hallmarks of brain diseases and all degenerative diseases are cell starvation, suffocation, and starvation. As far as starvation goes, when it comes to the health of the nervous system, the health of the brain, there is no nutrient more important than the B complex. I call the B complex the brain complex, the vitamin brain complex. And of all the B complex vitamins, the one that stands out the most when it comes to brain health issues is vitamin B3. Also known as niacin. And I'm talking about all mental health issues, from simple forgetfulness, memory problems, to anxiety. Social anxiety disorder, for example, has been treated quite effectively with high doses of niacin, to full-blown Alzheimer's disease and dementias. In fact, the disease that is associated with niacin deficiency is called pellagra, and as any medical school student will tell you, the symptoms of pellagra are referred to as the 4 Ds: diarrhea, dementia, dermatitis, and death. Where do you get your niacin? BTT, folks, Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Not only niacin, but all the B vitamins in copious, generous, easy to absorb amounts. Get yourself on the BTT. Get yourself on the Healthy Start Pack. If you notice you're starting to forget things, you're not having some memory problems, or if you have a loved one who's dealing with dementias or Alzheimer's disease, give them the gift of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, or 888-379-2552, toll free. We're coming back at you with more good health information right after this. Don't go away. What is up, Douglas?
Thought we'd talk a bit about ADHD today, as I've got a couple of stories here. One from Fox News. It's headlined, "Prescriptions for ADHD drugs double among adults." They say the number of U.S. adults and young adults getting prescriptions for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder has nearly doubled over the past 4 years. This comes from drug manager Express Scripts. They report that there's been a 53% increase in ADHD prescriptions for adults and a 47% increase for ADHD drugs for young adults between 2008 and 2012. Overall, there's 2.6 million adults and 640,000 young adults getting ADHD prescriptions in 2012 alone. They say additionally, 5.7% of all kids ages 4 to 18 have been prescribed medications in 2012, according to Express Scripts. They say they process scripts for about 90 million Americans, and they say the medications used to treat ADHD include stimulants like Adderall and Concerta, as well as newer non-stimulant formulations like Strattera. And they say to help manage the symptoms, key word there, manage the symptoms like severe attention deficit hyperactivity. Say it also leads to side effects like sleep deprivation, appetite suppression, and addiction, as well as hallucinations. Some experts report that ADHD is being overdiagnosed and the drugs are being overprescribed. And according to Brooke Molina, an associate professor of psychiatry at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine and one of the disorder's lead researchers, they say it's hard to dismiss the data in this report. There are limitations with every study, but it's hard to do anything but conclude that we have a continually forward marching increase. And there you go.
I got 3 words for you. BTT. That stuff is amazing for all mental health issues. We're talking about Alzheimer's disease at the beginning of the program, but for kids, oh my God, the B vitamins. In fact, I would tell you, there's a good case can be made that ADD and Alzheimer's disease, for that matter, are really the manifestations of B vitamin deficiencies. There's no nutrient more specifically targeted for brain health than the B complex of vitamins, especially, as I was saying earlier in the program, niacin and also thiamine for kids. Doc's been talking about thiamine for a really long time for the heart and for blood sugar issues, but especially for the brain. You know, there's a type of disease that alcoholics get called Werner-Korsakoff syndrome. You ever hear of this thing, Werner-Korsakoff syndrome?
Yeah, I've heard Doc talk about it before.
Right. It's also known as alcoholic psychosis. And Werner-Korsakoff syndrome is marked by the kind of stuff that you see long-term alcoholics having to deal with, talking to pink leprechauns and elephants in the corner and all the kind of, caricature sort of symptomology that alcoholics have to deal with. In fact, if the cure, really, the major treatment for Werner-Korsakoff syndrome is not a drug. The major treatment for alcoholic psychosis is not a drug. If some alcoholic is drinking beer out of a paper bag and they slam him in the drunk tank because he's hysterical and hallucinating and delusional, you know what the medicine they give him is? You know what the drug, so-called, they give him is? What? Thiamine, vitamin B1. It's an official drug for Werner-Korsakoff syndrome, but that same thiamine, you don't need to have an injection of it. You don't need to go to the doctor to get it. You can simply use your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and I'm talking about any kind of brain health issues. You don't have to have complete delusions. You don't have to be delusional or be dealing with alcoholic psychosis. There's minor forms or less intense forms of psychoses and alcoholic delusions, such as forgetfulness, dementias, problems thinking clearly, cognitive issues, and attention and focus problems in children. In fact, I would tell you that there's a good chance that if your child or you, because now we have adult ADD, are dealing with concentration problems, focus problems, all the other things that are associated with attention deficit disorder, you may want to make sure that you're getting enough thiamine. And oh, by the way, do you know what will deplete thiamine faster than anything else? Even if you have some thiamine around, even if you're supplementing with thiamine, nothing will deplete your thiamine levels faster than sugar, refined flour, pasta, rice, potatoes, cereal, all the foods that we feed up on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program and on my show, The Bright Side. That means if your kid is going off to school with a typical standard American breakfast of potatoes and Pop-Tarts and muffins and cereal, the chances are really good that he or she's going to be deficient in thiamine and dealing with attention problems. Get them on the BTT. Get them on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Send your kid home. Send your kid to school with a little Beyond Tangy Tangerine in one of those packets or maybe a water bottle with some BTT in there. Have them sip on it all day long and watch what happens. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552 toll free. We're coming back at you right after this on the ZBS Radio Network. Did you know Ritalin may increase cancer risk in children? That's a small study anyway that came out in 2005 and it's published on WebMD. Doug, there's nothing good about a prescription drug, period. I mean, if you need them occasionally, if you need an antibiotic or you need a pain pill, yeah, but when you have some kind of long-term degenerative crisis, you really want to be figuring out what the heck is going on. The whole notion of, there's 10 million prescriptions filled every year for ADHD drugs. That's according to WebMD. 10 million.
Wow. That's a cash cow.
Right, I was about to say, how much money do you think that's worth?
I have no idea. I don't know what a prescription for Ritalin costs.
I don't know either, but back in the day, you were looking probably at $50 or $60 for a month's supply, and that's of the generic Ritalin. I'm not even sure what it is now, but according to WebMD anyway, sales of Ritalin and other ADHD drugs have increased by more than 500%.
Man, that's crazy.
And the scary thing is the cancer thing. Man,
well, there's also a new analysis out that has linked taking ADHD medications early in life to weight gain and obesity later in life. And they said that according to the CDC, they said that 11% of kids ages 4 to 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD, and half of those are taking Adderall or Ritalin. And they say previous studies suggest ADHD could be a risk factor for childhood and adult obesity. According to Dr. Brian S. Schwartz of Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, says it's the first study to tie the medication to later weight gain. See, in the study, kids who had taken a stimulant medication at a younger age tended to have a, quote, rebound in weight gain as in teen years, even after they stop taking the year. And they say it's not clear why there's this jump in weight. And I'm thinking, well, Ritalin is basically it's speed, and so you take speed for half your life, and then you stop taking it. What's your body's response going to be? You are going to probably start gaining weight.
That's craziness. Well, here's the thing. There's so many nutritional strategies that you can use and dietary strategies. We talked about the sugar connection. And please, folks, don't underestimate the sugar connection between brain health issues, attention issues, focus issues, aggressive behavior, emotional disturbances, any psychological or brain issue, and the standard American diet that kids go off to school with. But the second thing is the wonderful, easy way that you can use nutritional supplements to address the problem. We talked about niacin, we talked about thiamine, and indeed the B complex of vitamins are probably your standout vitamins, your standout nutritional supplements for dealing with brain health issues. Not just for kids, folks, not just for children, not just for ADD, for any brain health issue. For students who maybe have to study for a test, or maybe before you take a test, get yourself on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. For athletes who need to concentrate, the B complex of vitamins can help with athletic performance. For lawyers who have to perform in court, for doctors even who have to be intellectually sharp, for anybody who needs to work on mental health, focus on the B complex of vitamins. But there's other nutrients that you can use for brain health as well. Hang tight. We'll talk about those when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Got some lines open for you at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. We'll take your phone calls when we come back from our break. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Dr. Wallach along with Doug Winfrey. We'll be back with more good health information on the ZBS radio network right after this. Don't go away. Your calls here in just a sec. A couple things I want to say about ADD. ADHD used to be called ADD, attention deficit disorder. Now it's referred to as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Aside from the sugar connection and aside from the wonderful benefits of the B complex, thiamine, and niacin, you can also use magnesium to help with ADD and focus issues. An article on naturalnews.com talked about this, dated August 6, 2009. Magnesium deficiency linked to ADD and ADHD in children. That, of course, means get your kids on the OsteoMag. If you want to have better focus, you don't even have ADD, get on the OsteoMag. If you have stress, get on the OsteoMag. Magnesium is an anti-stress nutrient. And it's liquid, so if you have digestive problems, it goes right to work. And magnesium is an awesome way to help yourself go to sleep. Using magnesium is an awesome way to help yourself go to sleep. If you have insomnia or you just can't fall asleep at night, a little bit of magnesium goes a long way towards helping you relax, helping your body relax, your muscles relax, and helping you fall asleep too. And then also essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs, can have salubrious beneficial effects on the brain if you're dealing with focus issues, brain health issues, really a lot of issues. The EFAs are very good for your skin. They're important for blood sugar control, bone health. They're important for all connective tissue development. They're important for everything. That's why they're called essential, folks, because they're essential, the essential fatty acids. But in terms of ADD and ADHD, omega-3 fats, omega-3 essential fatty acids can have wonderful effects for helping folks focus and attention and improving brain health, especially for fetuses in the womb. So if you are a pregnant mom, give your baby the gift of good nutrition by using essential fatty acids. You'll have a smarter baby. You'll have a baby with better hand-eye coordination and a baby with better emotional stability and focus ability as well. Okie doke, 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552. Toll free. I say it's time to hit the telephones. Let's go to our first phone call of the day, Doug.
Let's head to Wisconsin. And Lou, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Lou?
Hi, Pharmacist Ben. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How can we help you, Lou?
Well, I have a brother-in-law just got operated with a tumor. He has brain cancer. He was operated 4 weeks ago. He has a high-grade glioma.
Okay. Brain cancer.
Been on steroids. Yeah, he's been on steroids for 3 weeks. He's getting ready to take chemo and then 6 weeks of radiation. So, need to know what to give him.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think you should give him, but your doctor probably isn't going to agree. Doctors like to keep the body shut down and suppressed when they're poisoning it with chemotherapy because they're afraid that nutrients will counteract the poison, and they don't like using good nutrients. But I'm telling you, man, If I had chemotherapy, I wouldn't let any doctor tell me that I couldn't use my Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I wouldn't let any doctor tell me I couldn't take vitamin C or vitamin E or use my Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids. I wouldn't let any doctor tell me I couldn't get on the Healthy Start Pack. So my advice to you, and again, you're going to have to deal with your physician on this, get your did you say your brother or brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law, my wife's.
Your wife's brother. Get your brother-in-law on the Healthy Start Pack. Get him on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Have him sip. This is my opinion. You're going to have to deal with your doctor, as I said. My opinion. Get him on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Have him sipping on it all day long. Use the Osteomag. Have him using the Osteomag. Have him using the Ultimate Essential Fatty Acids. You know, the Biolumin Nightly Essence is one of my all-time favorite nutritional supplements. It's one of my favorite longevity products. It's very important for digestive health. And if you have any kind of digestive impairment, that's going to make it much more difficult for other nutrients to work as well as they might. And I think your doctor may not have a problem with you on the or your brother-in-law on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. So that might be something that's easier to get him on, and he can have some good effects that way as well. Hope that helps. Thanks so much for your call, and good luck to your brother-in-law. God bless. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552, toll free. We'll be back right after this. Let's go to our next phone call. Doug?
Let's head to Alabama. And Carl, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Carl?
Well, yes, sir. I have about 3 or 4 different things, but I...
Give us your top two. Give us your top two, Carl.
I have a close friend that has retina chromatosis. She has night blindness, and the cells in her eyes are dead. And is there anything that we have with longevity?
Vitamin A. You bet. Vision FX. Vision FX. Vision FX. You might also want to throw in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Ultimate Daily. Vitamin A is a major treatment for that. Vitamin A deficiency will cause night problems. You know, also, now that I think about it, sometimes if we have digestive issues, she's had a gallbladder removed, or she has some gallbladder problems, or perhaps liver problems, or even intestinal or stomach problems, she may not absorb her vitamin A. So make sure she takes her vitamin A with meals. Her Vision FX with meals, and have her take her Vision FX with digestive enzymes, with the Ultimate enzymes. So after each meal, have her use some of the Vision FX with the Ultimate enzymes, and that'll help her absorb the vitamin A and the other eye nutrients from the Vision FX. And then have her sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine all day long. And personally, I would also be throwing in the Ultimate Daily, which can also get her some vitamin A. And it wouldn't hurt her to use the Biolumin Nightly Essence, which we talked about with our last caller. The Biolumin Nightly Essence is not only important for just overall digestive health, but it can help the body process fats and fatty vitamins. And retina problems, eye problems, are very often responsive to working with the fat digestion and fat metabolism system of the body. And that means Biolumin Nightly Essence, digestive enzymes, in addition to the Vision FX, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and the Ultimate enzymes after meals. What's your second question there, Carl?
Well, the secret sauce that cleans out the arteries and the kidneys.
The secret sauce
in the Healthy Brain and Body Pack.
Well, there's a lot of things Doug, do you know anything specifically? I can tell you some things that in a general sense will clean out the arteries, and that, for example, vitamin K is one of the most important of the artery cleaning nutrients, and you'll find that in the Ultimate Daily as well as the Beyond Tangy Tangerine product. There's something called NAC that you can use that has a nice this is called chelating, by the way. That's how that works, where you clean out your arteries. It's called chelation. The OPC, or the Ultimate Selenium, that'll work as well. And then anything with sulfur is going to work as well. So any of the MSM, any of the products that contain MSM, and that includes the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. If you want just one product, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine will do it. But I would throw in the Ultimate Selenium as well. And you know what else, now that I think about
Doc often recommends, for artery health, he recommends the Ultimate Daily.
Yeah, the Ultimate Daily will get you a lot of that stuff. Doug, is there anything that, what are the Ocean's Gold products? The Ocean's Gold and also the Z-Radical, that's what I'm thinking of. Algae are very interesting. The Z-Radical and the Ocean Gold, they contain seaweeds, algae, and these algae have a lot of interesting properties for the circulatory system. For one thing, they can help thin the blood. They have an ability to magnetically affect blood cells and keep things moving effectively, and they also have this chelating property, this property of magnetically attracting dirt out of the blood, toxins out of the blood to keep things moving smoothly. And then last but not least, the Ultimate EFAs can also have a nice blood thinning effect. And you know what else? Just plain old H2O can have a really good blood thinning effect, and the same with oxygen. That's why, that's so cool. Water, nutrients, oxygen, these are just the basic fundamental things that we all need for being alive. This is all the cost of doing business for being alive. You got to breathe, you got to have water, and you got to have good nutrients. And there's no doctor that you need for this. These are all things that we can do ourselves. So Carl, for thinning the blood, for keeping things moving along, think essential fatty acids, think Z-Radical, think selenium, the Ultimate Selenium, think the Ultimate Daily, use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Make sure your friend is drinking lots of water, keep things fluid and things moving along, and don't forget your deep breathing techniques. Oxygen is one of the most important elements for a healthy blood. More oxygen means blood moving along smoothly. Less oxygen means blood clumping up. So for all circulatory issues, heart issues, blood pressure issues, oxygen is unspeakably important. Good deep breathing techniques. Thanks for your call, too, by the way, Carl in Alabama. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get one more in before our break, Doug.
All right, let's head to Connecticut. And Alex, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Alex.
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Been listening to you via Alex Jones' show and heard a lot about you. Great stuff.
Good deal.
Two quick things. It's actually for my friend, and I have something for me, but I'll go with my friend first.
Okay.
He was diagnosed with cancer a few years back, and I have the name here. It's called multiple myeloma.
Myeloma? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And
that's a common one.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
I don't know. He says he got it probably from working at some particular job. And he's been taking some drugs for the cancer with Salamid and Decadron. And there's for his eyes and pain, Oxycontin. I have his weight, too. He's a 260.
Well, you don't need it. No, we don't need any of that. Myeloma is a blood cancer. It's like any cancer. It's cancer. It means cells going nuts. And cells don't go nuts spontaneously. Cells are beautiful. They are amazing. They're divine. They're highly structured, highly organized, and they do their business just perfectly as long as they have the food they need, the nutrients they need, the oxygen they need, and they have a effective way to remove their toxins. But when toxins build up under conditions of nutritional deficiencies and under conditions of suffocation, cell suffocation, oxygen deprivation, cells revert back to a primitive way of being. They resort to a survival strategy, which is to divide really rapidly and ineffectively. And that's just a way a cell gets by. A cell turns cancerous as a survival strategy. It's a primitive way of existing, a primitive way of dividing. And it doesn't serve us as the owners of the cell, but it serves the cell because it keeps the cell surviving under conditions of starvation, suffocation, and toxification. And it doesn't matter if it's myeloma or glioma or a blastoma or whatever oma you want to call it. It doesn't matter where the cancer is, folks. It doesn't matter where it is. It matters that it is. And this is a hallmark fundamental idea. It doesn't matter that where we're sick. It doesn't matter where our sickness shows up. It doesn't matter where our disease shows up. It matters that it's showing up. This diversion that the medical model imposes upon us, focusing on the thyroid and the bone and the skin and the kidney and the heart, doesn't serve us. You don't believe me? Just look at the statistics. We got more diagnoses. We've got 12,800 different ways of looking at the disease state. That's how many diagnoses there are, according to the World Health Organization. Has that made us any better that we have all these diagnoses? We got all these doctors doing the diagnoses. Has that made us any better? We got devices, and we got surgical procedures, and we got diagnostics, and we got drugs. Has that made us any better? No. What we need to do is not focus on the fact that we've got a breakdown in a particular part of the body, but that we've got a breakdown. When it comes to cancer, it doesn't matter where it is, it matters that it is. And that means, number one, with cancer, you got to really focus hard on the detoxification element, stop toxins from getting into the body largely through food, and then help the digestive system work. And that means Biolumin Nightly Essence, that means Ultimate Enzymes, and that means liquid nutrition like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Vitamin C is unspeakably important, by the way, for cancer. Just Google cancer and vitamin C, and you'll get thousands of different articles and studies and research papers on how powerful vitamin C is for the immune system. Keeping sugar out of the body is extra important. It's important for everybody, but it's extra important if you're dealing with cancer. Cancer loves sugar. It eats sugar. It thrives on sugar. The more sugar you eat, the less vitamin C effect you're going to have. The more sugar you eat, the less white blood cell or immune cell activity you're going to have. So keeping the body away from refined flour, pasta, cereal, any kind of refined sugar product, fruit juice, soda pop, desserts, all of those kinds of foods is very important. And make sure that your friend is getting more protein. That's the easiest way to wean yourself off of refined flours and refined carbohydrates, is to make sure you're getting more protein. Wouldn't hurt you to get on the OsteoMag. And by the way, the Ultimate Selenium is powerful anti-cancer medicine. Selenium may be the most powerful of all the anti-cancer nutrients. So maybe 400 or 500 micrograms of the Ultimate Selenium product might be a good idea. Thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it. We got to move on. We're going to take a break. I'm Pharmacist Ben along with Doug Winfrey. You are listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. Got one more segment to talk to you at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Who's next, Douglas?
Let's head to New Jersey. And William, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hi, William.
Hi, Doc. How you doing?
Doing good. What's cooking today?
Well, I'm calling because maybe you can help me. I have to go to dialysis 3 times a week.
Okay.
My kidneys shut down, so I'm wondering if there's something.
Good nutrition, my man. BTT, Doc likes the Ultimate Daily. I like the Ultimate Daily too. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, make sure you're sipping on it. Sipping it all day long. Make sure you're getting a good source of protein too. A lot of times doctors will tell you got to stay away from protein, but you need to have some good amino acids to help rebuild things. The Slender FX can get you some good protein too. And then the ultimate essential fatty acids are important for all health issues. In fact, the Healthy Start Pack would be the first thing I would think about, in addition to throwing in the Ultimate Daily. And then probably, if you want to add one more thing, the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Good nutrition. Make sure you're getting your water-soluble nutrients, and that, of course, means the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. But make sure you're sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine so you give yourself a nice steady state influx of those water-soluble nutrients. That's the way you want to do in my opinion, that's the way you want to do your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, no matter what you're dealing with, but especially if you've got dialysis and you're dealing with kidney problems. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it, and I hope we helped you out. Let's see if we get a couple more in, Doug, before we have to go.
All right, let's head to Alberta, Canada, and Isabel, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Isabel. Isabel? I know you're in Canada.
Going once, going twice. No, right. Isabel.
Right.
That's it on calls for right now until my phone screener gets somebody put on hold here.
No worries. Don't worry. You want to wait to get a call? Get your call screener to do a work, and you and I will just have a little conversation about the longevity products before we get to our next call. If you haven't tried these things yet, if you're just listening, if somebody has directed you to the program and you want one product to do, in my opinion, you want the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I've been working with this product, folks, for 17 years. I've seen the letters, I've gotten the messages, I've watched the patients improve. I noticed what it's done for me in my life personally, and I haven't let a day go by without sipping on this stuff for the last 17 years. And this stuff is going to kick your butt. If you haven't tried a nutritional supplement program yet, you're going to be amazed. I love, Doug, and maybe you can tell me what you think about this. You ever notice how people will try the Beyond Tangy Tangerine if they've never done any nutritional supplements, and they'll think it's magic?
Yeah. Right? I have a friend of mine that just started purchasing it from me, and I've been trying to get him to take something for probably 10 years, and he finally got a canister of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and within a day or two, he called me up and said, "Man, I haven't felt this good since I was in my 20s."
I know. It's amazing.
Like, well, maybe take a little nutrition and don't drink so much alcohol, and you might feel better.
Well, here's the thing, Doug. The gift of the body is the more deficient we are, the faster the body absorbs nutrients. The less nutrients we have present, the faster the body will absorb the nutrients that you put in. It's like a dry sponge sucking up more water than a wet sponge. And I got to tell you, I get a kick out of the fact that people think that it's magic, because it's not magic. It just seems like magic. It's always amazing to me that people think this is a miracle. But it's not a miracle. It is just the way the body works. Nutrients are to the body what gasoline is to the car. They're supposed to be in the food. We're supposed to be able to eat our salads and get our veggies and eat our fulfill our dietary needs and get the nutrition that we need, but it just isn't going to happen. And I don't care if you're eating organic. I don't care if you're only eating spinach. You just can't count on the soils having what the minerals that they need, and that means you can't count on the plants having being able to make the nutrients that they typically would make. You've all heard the statistics. Apples and spinach and okra and broccoli have fractions of the nutrients that they used to have, and that's why getting on a good nutritional supplement program in the year 2014 on planet Earth in America is not optional. It's essential. The body cannot function in its God-given, pristine, perfect fashion. Cells cannot function in their God-given, pristine, perfect fashion without the raw materials that we call nutrients, without the raw materials that we call essential nutrients. Get yourself on the Healthy Start Pack. Start sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Use the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Take the Ultimate Enzymes with meals, and I guarantee you, with 100% conviction and surety, based on my experience as a pharmacist in the last 17 years of seeing these things work, you are going to feel better and feel better quickly. Thanks for listening, folks. I'm Pharmacist Ben for Doug Winfrey, for Doc Wallach, for all the folks at the ZBS Radio Network. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.